Happy International Women's Day. Really pleased to introduce you to some of the inspiring women in the Diagnostics group at LSTM.
In school, I really enjoyed science and I had some really great and supportive science teachers.
I was lucky in school in that I had some really enthusiastic female science teachers, so a good example was set from the start.
After achieving a B at GCSE, my school didn't allow me to take science at A-level for fear that I wouldn't achieve good enough results. So I was encouraged to drop science and enter the arts instead. I took art and design based A-levels and then went on to art college. I knew that this wasn't my passion and decided to then ignore the suggestions of my previous teachers after studying art for 3 years and wanted to pursue science instead, as I initially wanted.
I didn't love science at school and I left at 16 with no formal qualifications, only returned later to do a foundation course in Carmel College here in Liverpool.
I think the biggest challenge I've faced as a woman is that the assumption that, for instance, on the hospital ward, we're always the nurse, in the lab we're always the assistant, and at a meeting that we're not there to chair, we're never the one in charge of what's going on. I think hopefully things are changing.
So if I could change a certain mindset or trend within academia, I think it would definitely be to do with the lack of female representation in higher ranking roles. My experience so far in academia, I've noticed that there's a trend where the percentage of women tends to decrease as the responsibility or the ranking of the role increases. I think this is definitely striking and slightly disappointing, as obviously women are just as capable as men are, and it should be definitely to do with qualifications rather than your gender.
If I could give my 14-year-old self any advice, that would be to relax and enjoy myself. So coming up through GCSEs and A-levels can be a really stressful time, and it's important to take some time to look after yourself and do the things that you enjoy.
I would say to my 14-year-old self that the world is out there, that you could do anything you want, you can travel anywhere, you will find inspirational men and women all around the world, and to engage with them you will have such a rich experience.
From the start, when I was considering going into university to study medicine, more than one person said to me that they felt it was a decision that I should perhaps reconsider, given that it might pose problems in having a balance and creating a family. So I suppose that was an example where that type of statement might not have been said to a man that was entering into the same field.
I really like International Women's Day because it gives me an opportunity to hear about all the fantastic accomplishments of the women around us.
The women who have inspired me in science are people like Marie Curie, Rosalind Franklin, real pioneers of the field who overcame systematic sexism in their time to be able to really revolutionise science as we know it today. I'm also really fortunate to work in a group that has a female PI, and I'm surrounded by incredible fellow female researchers, medics, PhD students every day who I really find inspiration from.
And I hope that by people having the experience of working with amazing women doing great things, that in the future people will assume when a woman walks into the room that she's the doctor, she's the lead researcher, and she's there to chair the meeting.
International Women's Day for me is a focal point in the year where we can look at the amazing achievements of women in science, but also reflect on how much progress we have made, and then highlight areas where perhaps progress is slightly slower, like the gender pay gap, and we can really bring that up the agenda and make a difference.
Everybody has a wonderful International Women's Day, celebrating the inspirational women around us and the inspirational women that we are.